Hi, I'm Bradley with Blue Cord, and so much has happened since our last video, and I'm sorry that I haven't been uploading as regularly as before. I just need somebody to follow me around with a camera. That would make things so much easier for me. And if they could just use an editing suite and put videos together and upload them to YouTube for me, that'd be awesome too. But my goodness, where to begin? I'm going to talk about a must-have accessory. Ventrac doesn't even make it, but you can buy these just about anywhere. They're not expensive, but they're incredibly helpful. Coming up next. Before I talk about this must-have accessory, let me take some time to talk about some stories and some good advice that I think most of you will really get a lot from and enjoy. Maybe I could start out by saying that each day is a gift, and it really is. It's something that I've been telling myself for many, many years, and it does change the way that you look at what's coming up today. And even if things are not going well, having that mindset helps you deal with things so much better. It's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it that makes the most difference. Here's an example. I had a delivery the other morning. I had ordered some things here for the shop, and I could see the Amazon van down at the bottom of the driveway, and I go out to meet the fella. And apparently he was having a really rough morning. Well, I had no idea, but I greeted him with enthusiasm, gave him a good handshake and told him how great it was to see him because, well, for one, he's delivering something that I'm waiting for, something that I need. And our girls were outside barking, and he asked what kind of dogs they were. We had a very brief conversation, and at the end of that, he said, before I arrived here today, he said, I was having a really bad morning. And he left here with a smile and ready to face the rest of the day. I guess the point is, every time you see someone, you have an opportunity to have a positive impact in that person's life. And I didn't do it on purpose. I had no idea this guy was having a rough day. He was very professional. But when he left here and he told me that, it just reminded me how important it is to make every moment count. And I'm nobody special, but that little thing that I did and being happy to see him, whatever it was that was going on with him that day, he chose to mention it to me, and how the interaction with me changed his whole outlook on the rest of the day. And that made me very happy to hear that. Now for a part of the story regarding the downside of humanity. One of our neighbors reached out to us a couple days ago and realized that his truck, it wasn't broken into. His truck was unlocked by pure happenstance that night through a series of unfortunate events. His truck never got locked. Well, that happened to be the night that someone came through our neighborhood, and we live in a dead-end community. It's not gated, but I would call it a closed community. This road doesn't go anywhere. And it's a back road off of a back road. And this guy went around to just about every single house that we could tell and looked for vehicles that were unlocked. And unfortunately, my truck and my wife's car being two of those vehicles. Well, nothing was broken, but anything that was small and of value was taken out of the vehicles of all the neighbors. And once our neighbor reached out to us, I quickly came outside and realized that someone had been here that night before, about 1 a.m. And the interesting part about this is I have 3 cameras that should have recorded what happened here that night, and none of them recorded a thing. Now, if that's not strange, but other neighbors' cameras did record, and he was very quick and very efficient. Actually, we couldn't even tell if it was a male. These people that are doing this sort of thing know what to do. They wear a hoodie. You can't see their face, can't make out anything, and they're in check if the vehicle's unlocked, open it up, quickly go through the center console, glove box if they can, and look for anything of value. So it's amazing. You know, I have tools and things in the truck that's, all in all, the value of that is way more than what the truck is even worth. None of that was taken. But I had some cash in the center console, and that was the only thing that was taken out of my truck. So clearly this person needs the money more than I do. Anyway, it's a shame to see that. You know, so I'm not so angry about what was taken, but it is a violation. You just feel a violation. You know, this is our property, this is our home, we want to feel safe. And for whatever reason, for what I can't explain, the sensors never went off, and we never knew that anyone was even here that night. And I do believe that everything happens for a reason. So I would say, you know, best case scenario is, you know, that person winds up getting caught, people get their things back, and the law deals with them at that time. Anyway, so yeah, that was very interesting. But here's something that happened. The police officer that arrived, I had contacted the police station. He showed up and took a report and talked to several of the other neighbors as well. And here he lives just up the hill from us. And in a development that I've done work for other customers. It's a new development, and I've done several grading jobs in there, because for one, the contractor did not do a very good job in the finish grading. They leave that up to the customer, and the soil in this area is very rocky. So a combination of those two things, we get a lot of calls in this area to come in and use the Ventrac and the power rake, which is totally awesome. In capable, experienced hands, you can do stuff with this thing that defies belief in terms of grading, and I enjoy it every single time. I was just, the morning is still early, and I've already spoken with a customer about grading this morning, and 4 or 5 customers yesterday, and I can't be everywhere at once. But this time of year is what it does. That first beautiful day in the spring, people are thinking about grading and other outdoor projects that I am more than happy to help them with. For some of our more astute viewers out there, you probably noticed that I'm wearing the Ukrainian flag right now, and I've had this patch for nearly 20 years, along with patches from dozens of other NATO countries that I served with on a multinational base as part of Operation Enduring Freedom. And my heart goes out to all of those who've been affected. War is a terrible thing. I don't fully understand what's going on over there or why. Just remember this, whatever you're seeing in the media, regardless of who's reporting it, you're only seeing what they want you to see. So anyway, back to this story about the police officer that was here. I brought him in here into the shop and showed him all the equipment, and this person that went into my truck and Susie's car, he never came into the shop, didn't take anything, had no desire to enter any buildings from what I can understand, from what I can tell. He's just not looking for confrontation, just quick score, small things that are valuable. Anyway, so the police officer, once he saw this equipment and I gave him a link to our YouTube channel and our website, took a look at that. He says, oh my gosh, he said, you know, he had an in-ground pool put in last fall. And we do a lot of these jobs. We do the finish grading for a lot of in-ground pool installations, and some of the pool manufacturers or the contractors that would install these pools will refer customers to us because we do a really good job in the finish grading. So we've done a lot of these in the past. So he invited me to come up and take a look at his property and the pool installation. I went up the next day or the day after, and we had a great conversation. We walked around, and he's going to have some things done first that I recommended he wait until he has me come in and do the finish grading. But it's these little things like that. Nothing happens by accident. And this has happened so many times before, where a circumstance that couldn't have been predicted, even if it's unfortunate, turns into an opportunity. And that's exactly what I would encourage all of you to think like that. You know, you have something that happens and it's undesirable. It happens to all of us. Turn that into an opportunity to do something good, to be better, every situation is an opportunity. So we'll have a video about that coming up in the near future, another in-ground pool grading. I'm really excited about that. We have a lot of other jobs lined up too. I love using the power rake and I love grading. It's a lot of fun and it really is an art form and a different kind of a canvas. I really enjoy the seat time and transforming a property into something above and beyond what people think is possible. I always get a real sense of enjoyment and satisfaction out of doing that. Since this is such a simple thing, I can't make an entire video on a wheel spinner. But if you don't have one of these things, absolutely get one. This is the first one that I bought with our first Ventrac, Nelly. And I'm a pretty sentimental guy. And once we got Gertrude, our 4500, I took the spinner off of Nelly, put it on this one, and I bought a second spinner and put on Nelly. And my goodness, I mean, this thing is all worn out. The rubber is starting to, you can see this, but the bearings are still tight. This thing is incredible. So let's see, I mean, this thing has several thousand hours on it with both machines, and it still works great. Now, there are several different manufacturers, several different types. I can't speak for one over the other. These are Easy Riders. And I've just had really good luck with these things, and they're very smooth and very well made. There are other really good manufacturers out there too, but depending on what attachment you're using, or even if you don't have some fancy attachment where you're doing a lot of steering back and forth, I'm telling you, because of the way the controls work on the Ventrac, you're using one hand to control the SDLA, and you're using the other hand for the steering. And that's kind of where another accessory comes into play, and that would be the optional foot pedal. You put all those things together in concert, together on the machine, and you create something that is very easy to control with a lot of different options, and it just makes it that much more fun. So the foot pedal, in my opinion, is a must-have accessory. In addition to the wheel spinner, a combination of those two things with the SDLA controls makes a machine that is extremely easy to control and gives you a few options on the fly as you're running the equipment. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and the advice that I have through years of experience. I don't know everything, but I've learned a lot about these machines in more than 15 years of running them. So for what it's worth, I'll give you my advice. You can take it if you want, but at the end of the day, it's your machine, it's your equipment. You decide how you want to run it and what works best for you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time, and lots of great new videos that are coming up in the near future.